the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped.
Now, one person told a prophet when they were hungry that if the windows of heaven open up, you can get down the street, right? That windows of heaven, the arubo. And it says that when these keru and were closed, not even the word sagar was used, but because of this particular incident, the term sakar means to close, to stop. Wasakeru, ma yeno. The fountains were closed. Mm-hmm. That's like putting a manhole cover back on it. Keep coming up. But the cover that the Creator has, Sakeru ma yeno. The fountains of the Tehom, of the deep, was closed and stopped. And the Arubo, the windows of Shemayim, of the heavens, were Yikale, was strained, was stopped, restrained. And the Yeshim mean Hashemayim. So that's why I say you have a lot of effects. It wasn't just raining. The Creator was opening up the Tehom, the deep, where there was water, things that is far beyond our understanding.
That's correct.
What's taking place here to bring this water, not just the rain as we know it, okay, but it let you know that it was sopped through and will close the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were restrained, and the rain from the heavens, okay,
restrained.
No restraint. Stop. The waters. Very, 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 very deep behind their home. All right? Very, very profound. Continue, my brother.
Third verse.
Okay.
And the waters returned from off the earth continually.
So now the waters return. The waters return continually.
And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated.
So the waters then receded upon the earth, halok, continuously going, ashov, and receding or returning. But kasaru, and the waters were removed, hamayim. Miketza, at the end of the Kamisha Me'at Yom, of the 150 days. Okay, it was removed. Still counting. Fourth verse says,
and the ark rested in the 7th month.
So Tanakh,
on the 17th day of the month.
So now,
on the mountain
still
of
counting
Ararat.
time. They don't lose count of time when they know. Keeping dates and time. So somebody, and the author who's narrating this particular story, that Nach Hateva, the ark, and the Kodesh should be the 7th month. The month we turn Itanim. Okay? We're in the 8th month now, but we just came out of the 7th month.
Okay.
So now, in that month, in the Itanim, the Shiva in the 7th month, Shiva Asad in the 17th day, counting, keeping calendar, La Kodesh of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. Some say it's near Turkey. That's where the ark is. Now the ark started on the ground, but it ended up on top of a mountain. Deep, right? Okay, talk to me.
And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the top of the mountain seen.
10th month. Now we're in the 10th month. From the 2nd month to the 10th month. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 months. Hey, wait a minute. So this whole thing, the rain is stopped, waters are going down, but they're still inside that ark. And the ark protects you. Get it off. Because you still can't come out.
That's right.
Because the ground might be quicksand mud. Because, it has to be able to hold you. So this is going on to this 10th month. Now it says, continue.
6th verse.
Yes.
And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noach opened the window of the ark.
So now Yiftach,
which he had made.
Yiftach Noach. Noah opened at Chalon. Now you should turn Chalon, but now Zahor. Remember with Zahor. Some people have a little something written about that. It started with Zahor, which was the window, which also means the light. But now, since Noah opened the window, we know it was only one window basically that they put in. And Noah opened that chalon, that window, okay, of the table, which he had made. Okay, 7 says,
and he sent forth a raven.
So Yishlach et ha'oreb, an oreb, a raven,
which went forth to and fro.
Say so
until the waters were dried up from off the earth.
So he sent forth this raven. Gotta test it out. Let's see, I'm not going up out there. If he send the bird out there, let it fly around. All right, then he sent out a raven at first. And then returned back. She know that it wasn't right. The environment is not right. And guess what? So then she returned. She's going to return unto him. All right, 8 verse says.
Also, he sent forth a dove.
So then he sent Yeshlach et Hayona. He sent the dove
to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground.
I'm not going to see if the dove. Go ahead.
But the dove found no rest on the sole of its foot. And she returned to him into the ark. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her into the ark.
So he put her in. So the raven out, came back, raven out, a raven and the dove, the young. Sent them out to see. All right. Ain't right, dove coming back. Even animals, birds, nature. You said they dumb. No, they intelligent. They're not here for me. Come back. Okay? Go right inside here.
That's right.
So you know what told us right. Next verse says,
10th verse. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again, he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening. And lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off.
That was broken or plucked off that fiha in her mouth. So now at least she's first, the key is that she stayed out all day. So it's getting better. And then when she returned before, she didn't stay all day, she's come right back. But now she go out.
She didn't come back to the evening.
All right, came back evening, hanging out there somewhere there, and came back with an olive leaf. What's the sign of the olive leaf? Sign of peace, right? Peace. Came back with an olive leaf. So then she turned with olive zayi, a leaf that's olive. Okay, that she plucked with sweet with purple. See that God works through animals as well.
Hallelujah. So Noach knew that the waters were abated from all the earth.
He knew that, listen, it's working. She brought back this leaf. She's been out all day. I'm looking at she back there. Oh, now she's coming. And she got the leaf. Now he knew. All right. And the waters were abated. 12 verse says.
And he stayed yet another 7 days.
Just to be sure,
and sent forth the dove, which did not return back to him anymore.
She didn't come back. That means it's right. I didn't say the male came with her, but she out there. Eventually they're all going to go out, but she's out there moving around now. She ain't coming back. You know, when you better environment, you said, I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back. You know what I mean? It's better. She brought back the leaf, but it was working. But when she didn't return the last time, you know, that's God letting me know.
This was getting on my nerves.
That's it. I'm out, and I'm not coming back. You know, so sure a lot. Oh, she didn't come back again. Okay.
And it came to pass in the 13th verse, in the 601st year.
Now, the Akkad Sheish Me'ot Shana.
In the first month, the first day of the month.
Now wait, we're back to Badeshon Be'Akkad.
The waters were dried up.
Now read that one more time, my brother. In what month?
And it came to pass in the 601st year.
How old was Noah when it started? He was 600. But now we are 601. So we're talking about actually a whole year. Okay. So in the 601,
in the first month.
And the first month, right?
The first day of the month.
Wait a minute. It's the first month, right? So we're back in what we may term Abi. Before it was Abi was another month, but God said change Abi later on. But we're back in the first month again. We read the 10th month, the 9th started in the second month, 8, 9, 10, and we heard about the 10th month. Now we're back at the first month. Continue.
The waters were dried up from off the earth, and Noach removed the covering of the ark.
So God closed them in, and Yashar Noach et Miska, and Noach removed the covering, the door from the table, and what?
And looked, and behold.
Now he looked, and he stepped out. He looked, he moved the door because the window was so big, But now he's able. The bird didn't come back, so he took the door off. You see.
And the face of the ground was dry.
Okay, so now Charba, Panay Hadam. Now, still, continue, 14 verse.
And in the second month.
Now that was the first month, but look what happened. We're in the second month now. By Kodesh Hashanim, go ahead.
On the 27th day of the month.
Almost at the end of the second month.
Was the earth dry.
See how long it took? Going over. So just because it stopped, it means it's ready. Now look what happens. 15 says.
And Elohim spoke to Noach, saying,
now you get God now approving. Saying, hey, Yedaber Elohim El Noach, and God spoke to Noah, saying what? 16 says,
go out from the ark.
Say mean hateva.
You and your wife. And your sons. And your sons' wives with you.
Now God, because he got the approval from God. And that's the best thing you can do. Wait on the cradle. I'm not too sure. You're okay. Look like logically, but okay. But that's what God said. All right, it's time to go. If God says it's safe, then it's safe. It's time to go. You see, God, remember, no.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you can go. You and your wife, your family, and the animals. Go. 17 says,
bring out with every living thing that is with you, of all flesh, both of bird and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, that they may breathe abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth.
On the earth, as it was said to do in the beginning. So they're going to do the same thing as I said that I told in Adam and Kaiwa and animals. Now I'm telling you and animals to do. Okay, continue. 18.
And Noach went out.
Say Noach.
And his sons. And his wife. And his sons' wives with him.
Family affair. Exiting together, we winning together. Pray together, stay together. Noah, his sons, and his wife. It's a family affair. You understand?
Yeah.
And what if there were the sons didn't listen to Abba? They wouldn't have been on that boat. Listen. It said that Lot had children in there that didn't come out, based on what we read. And in-laws that didn't come out. They didn't listen. This is about to be destroyed. Let's go. And it took them like it was a joke. So everybody always giving them an insight to see things that children you just can't see. Dangers and things, and even when it comes to prosperity, the family, the parents can see that. You see, what if they didn't listen? They would be on that ship. But they listen, and that saves lives. So people listen to your parents. Trying to save their life. Okay? So everything. What verse you on, my brother?
20th.
20. Talk to me.
And Noach built an altar.
So now, then Noach means he built an altar
to Yehovah.
To who?
To Yehovah.
Now, this is on the first context you're going to read about using tetragrammaton. Before, in this Parashat, you see Elohim. Now, you built a Mizbeah unto Yehovah. And then he did what?
And took every clean beast.
And
of every clean bird. And offered burnt offerings
he did
on the altar.
On the Mizbeah. Clean. Not any of the two, but of the 7. He made an olah to the prayer. Giving thanks. All right. You saved me. my family,
Yes.
and eating the animals. So he made it Ola from the Tahor, from the clean. So, all right. Way back then, clean and unclean. Tell people, think about things. It's there for a reason. 21.
And Yehovah smelled
Yarak Yehovah et hareach. Not Elohim. Yarak Yehovah et hareach. The
the
aroma.
pleasing odor.
Hanika.
And Yehovah said in his heart,
Yehovah et libo.
I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake.
Remember, he cursed the ground in Adam's sake. Cursed the ground with Cain. You know, not the men, but the ground. But no more would I do this because of Adam. Since what?
For man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart.
For the inclination of his thoughts, the yetzer, the inclination, the creation of his yetzer, of his thoughts,
is evil from his youth.
Rami Urai is evil from his youth. Na'ar from his Ne'ura. Na'ar is a term we use, as we say, the early teens. Okay, not the Tapam stage or the yellow stage, but probably as a teenager, you know, things start happening. You start getting grown and get that few age and talk about Na'ar. And then when we get to the 21, 22, we call you Bakur. You know, you're a young man, you know, of age, able to go forth to war at 20, or when you get to the R stage, that young stage, the teenage stage, or so forth. The R, young, you know, it's evil from his from the youth. And lo, what said, I will not continue again to what? To smite. To smite. I'm not going to do this because man's inclination, man's thought is evil from his youth. That's why you have to chastise. That's why you have to work on getting out.
That's right.
That's what we do to make us a better people.
That's right.
Not because we want to be physically abusive or mentally abusive or verbally abusive. Because we want to steer you right in the right road.
That's it.
Okay, that's the whole righteousness of the Creator. That you will live and not die or not be harmed. Okay, that's what the whole point is. So from our youth on, you have to constantly chastise our children. Okay, again, not just physical, sometimes it's words. Because you chastise them and you don't hug. I love you, but you do this because you know. I'm saying this for your betterment.
That's it.
Most children don't understand. We want lovely children. But I want lovely children.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're going to get. I don't mean you're going to, oh God, I have mercy on you. So I'm not going to tell you gratitude. And you know, some of us are terrible. Got in all kind of trouble, did everything. You look back at, you know, my mom said, remember you were like that. Remember you were like that. You just look. Oh, my.
Mm-hmm.
So
tell them everything.
Okay. So I'm and just behave. Oh, yeah. However, continue, brother.
King. We're going to the 22nd.
22nd verse says,
and while the earth remains, seed time, and harvest, and cold, and heat, and summer, and winter, and day, and night shall not cease.
That will not cease. The earth will remain. We're going to get caught up. We're going to get winter. We're going to kite. We're going to get summer. We're going to get Sadah. We're going to get fall. We're going to all those seasons are part of our life, depending geographically where you live. Okay. You think it don't snow in Israel? Why? Snow. It get cold. That's why God told me don't take this from coat at night. Oh, it get cold. It was warm in the day. Boy, you better get me a coat tonight. The temperature drop. Right now it's okay outside. Let it be dropping. That's how it is in parts of the earth. But those things will never cease. The Yishpe go through. They shall not cease. And what word does it use? Yishbeto. From the word Shabbat. What the word Shabbat means to stop, to cease. It will not cease. It will not be. Okay? 9th verse, 9th chapter.
9th chapter. And Elohim blessed Noah and his son,
and he blessed Benai,
and said to them,
and said Lahem,
be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
It's like he told Chaywa and Adam. Go ahead.
And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth.
Which means that you will rule over them just as I told Adam and Kaiwa. Go ahead.
And upon every bird of the air.
Even of the oath of the Shemaim, the bird of the air.
Upon all that moves upon the earth. And upon all the fishes of the sea.
Even of the big day,
to your hand are they delivered.
Which means the shark, the whale, the bad monsters, and the sea, everything you are over. They must bow and respect you. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not going to be afraid of the shark or the thing you don't know, or the bear, the tiger, oh God, oh dear, or whatever. You're not. What? Because man went off from the creator. This is what we get. They're supposed to be under our control. And of course, we're supposed to treat them well. Yes. That's the thing. Continue, brother.
Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Now that's giving the authority.
That's right.
What's written doesn't mean that they didn't do things before. But now you read about the clean and unclean, and you read about Abel had cattle. Okay, you say, well, they ate whatever, but they had cattle. So only they can do is what? Make clothes and offer up to God. Yeah, well, okay. All right. But now you're going to get the authorization. You know what's interesting about scriptures? God told us, you know what, Israel, this is preparation for you and the day that you choose me. I'm your king, but you know what? You're going to want to be the other nations. But here's what the king should do. All right, that's there. But later on, when we chose in general time, God was upset with us. See, the Creator lets us do a lot of things that we like to do. Not that He necessarily wants it for you, but it's okay. I'm going to let you do that if you want. But I'm going to tell you what the king going to be like. And you have to be, this is what I want you to do. So now I'm authorizing you officially to say, the flesh that's moving, you can eat it. Okay? I'm not going to tell you to do something that's harmful to you. Your desire. Okay? So now that you know that the flesh, that's moving down. Basa, Banashur, Damo. However, here is the regulation with this. Everything comes with rules and regulations.
That's right.
And as we grow as a people, sometimes more regulation. Because when our numbers increase, sometimes the regulations have to be increased. The rules, you know, especially us who are stiff-necked and hard-headed. And what does it say, brother?
It says in the 4th verse.
Yeah, right?
But flesh with its life,
okay,
which is its blood,
you
shall not eat.
So now you can eat flesh, but not the blood, not the dam. Because the dam is the life. Makes sense. In your blood is your genetics, your DNA. Tells you your O positive, O negative, whatever you be, whatever you are in your blood. When they do your blood test, they tell you what sickness you have. If you got sometimes we call cancer, they're going to tell you your blood test is going to come with that. The blood test is going to say whether you have sickle cell or not, whatever sickness it is, it's in the blood. So we what? Purify the blood. All right? Blood disease. It's in the blood. The blood tells you. You know, and when they say, is this your child or not? Well, this is your child. The blood. The blood work. The blood is important. It is the life. You cannot eat the flesh with the life. That's what makes the life. Without the life, the blood, you're not here. You lose too much of the blood, not only you're going to lose weight, but you're going to leave this earth. Okay? So you cannot eat. Okay.
5th verse.
Eat it. Go ahead.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man.
Which means what? On the old side, people committed murder. Animals started to boil, kill each other, and kill man. So I'm going to require the life. If an animal kills a human being, I'm going to require that animal's life. Even today, if a pit bull or animal kills a human being, They got to put that pit down. They got to put the animal down. Because once you get in the process of killing, it's not going to stop. That blood goes in, you got to put it down. So God said, I'm going to require that animal to be responsible if he should take a man's life. And I'm going to require man, if man takes another man's life, to pay for it. Okay? Because these are things that were done on the other side. And it never said that the other people were right. It said that Noah was righteous and his wife and children, but they were correct enough to get over. But you know that it's going to start again. Because the imagination of man's heart is what? Even from the sheep. Because guess what? I know you. They ain't changed. Boy, you so bad. Little bad. You know what I mean? But, I would say some of the baddest children turn out to be some of the greatest. And some of the lovely, nice ones turn out to be some of the bad ones later. It happens. But this is Torah.
Okay.
Talk to me, brother.
6th verse.
6th verse says,
whoever sheds man's blood,
shofek, who spills the blood of man, who shofek a man's blood,
by man shall his blood be shed.
Damo.
For in the image of Elohim,
in the image,
he made man.
Elohim. I saw it in the image of in the Zelle, in the image of God, made he man. So you shed man's blood, man, your blood gonna be shed. Okay, because man was made in the Zelle of Elohim. Now it goes back to who? Elohim. And opposed to the tetragrammaton. And then what the Creator is doing is an attribute of the name that it uses. Okay. Talk to me. 7.
Okay. And you,
10.
be fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply in it.
And multiply in it. No, I ain't talking about Planned Parenthood. And have faith. I just multiply it. Why are you spraying them cats? Why are you spraying them animals? That's not Torah. They supposed to be. Isn't that what it said? For them to be fruit multiply. So why you that dog let her, but he can't have no little one like him? You're not supposed to be fruitful and multiply in the earth.
Right.
That's they're supposed to procreate.
Yes.
But if you live with a man, everything is fixed. You be fixed too. No, everything is designed to produce after itself. Cats, dogs, squirrels, But we want to control the population. No, that's not how it's supposed to go. I'm saying Torah, the way of God. You got the way of man, but this is Torah. Everything has to be fruitful and multiply. Okay? That's what they're supposed to do. All right. 8th verse says, the 8th.
And Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying,
with him, to him and his sons. All right, because what? They're family.
Okay.
Continue.
And
Ani,
behold,
I
establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you.
After you, your seed, down to Abraham over now. So now there's one covenant to Abraham. We had a covenant way before.
That's right.
What is the covenant? I'm going to establish my covenant with you and your seed and even all the creation. Go ahead.
And with every living creature that is with you, of the bird, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark,
everything that come out of this ark,
every beast on the earth.
Every beast on earth, I'm going to make this covenant now. Go ahead.
And I will establish my covenant with you, nor shall all flesh be cut off anymore by the waters of a flood.
Nothing will happen on this level like this with water, again, with water. It happens to happen another way, but not with Mabul, not with a flood.
Nor shall there anymore be a flood to destroy the earth.
Oh, yeah, or Mabul, Shached Ha'aretz will destroy it. Not earth. It could destroy a town. It can destroy a state, a city, but never the world. It can destroy a country, but not the owner. You see, that's the difference here. All right? It's specific. Not on this last level. Because you look at now, things get wiped out. We just saw in Florida, they wiped out wiped out. All right, but God didn't tell you that. Said the earth will never be wiped out like that again. The whole earth. So yes, towns, and cities, and countries will be wiped out, but not the whole earth. Can be wiped out. I just want to know His promise. He's not going back on His promise.
No.
That the masses like it did that happened here will not happen like that by flood. Okay, by flood, and it could happen, although it will never on that massive level.
Okay.
12 says.
And Elohim said,
Elohim,
this is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for everlasting generations.
Hold on, forever. I'm going to make an agreement, a contract between you and me and the animals and everything that's around living. This contract is going to be. Go ahead, brother.
I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth.
I'm going to put my bow, we call it kashet, or rainbow. I'm going to put it there. So, my kashti, or kashet. My kashet, my rainbow, is going to be put in the inner cloud with the rainbow comes the cloud, and it shall be the oath for a sign and the berit, a covenant between the earth and me. All right. 14 says,
and it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud.
The bow is going to be seen in that. You see that rainbow has a nice pretty colors.
Yes.
And that cloud, right after the rain, you see it or whatever. That's the contract that God made with the earth. Go ahead.
And I will remember my covenant,
Zakarti,
which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh.
That's the agreement. Remember. All right? Distinctly, that is the agreement in that with that rainbow. Okay? Talk me 16.
And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth.
12:17 says.
And Elohim said to Noachv, this is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and of all flesh that is upon the earth.
Upon the flesh, that rainbow, that's what it represents. Go ahead.
And the sons of Noah
who
went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan.
He is the father of Canaan. This is the author, the narrator who's telling this story. He's the father of Canaan. We know about Canaan and Canaanites. Great people, warrior people, brothers and sisters like us, very deep, very knowledgeable, very strong. Okay? The father of Canaan. Go ahead, 19 says.
These are the three sons of Noah, and from the whole earth people.
Now, Fatsa, from them, the whole earth is existence then and now. From those three sons, you're either Japhetic, Hamitic, or Shemitic. Okay? Continue.
Okay. And Noah began to be a farmer. And he planted a vineyard.
Now, the people are going to get up, we're going to see stories about Noah violated, whatever. No. Hey, listen. He lived, God bless him, he began to plant. All right? A farmer, econ. All right? Person of the earth, start to farm. Go ahead, my brother.
And he drank of the wine and became drunk. And he lay uncovered inside his tent.
Hold up. Whose tent?
His tent.
Whose tent?
His tent.
Whose tent?
His tent.
Okay. Birthday suit in his tent. Okay? In his tent. Planted, drunk from his wine, and he went in his tent. And they had his birthday suit. The moon shined. That's it. All right. That's what letting you know. They drank, got drunk, perfectly okay, and went in his tent. He didn't go to a club. He didn't go to the boys. He went in his tent. All right. Those days in his house. That's what they're doing. Now, I'm going to point that out. 22nd verse says,
And come, the father of Canaan saw the nakedness of his father, and he told his two brothers outside.
Now, here's the problem with this. There's no problem. But because of this, I'm going to show you how the mind works. I got to bring this out. Noah is in his tent, uncovered, birthday suit, intoxicated, and fun. Not allowed to be intoxicated, because that's what wine is going to do. So here comes Ham, okay, who it mentions the father of Canaan. This give me history, because you got to put things together. This is just information here. You gotta, right? That's later on who is descendant to him. All right. While Noah is uncovered in his tent, the father of Canaan, all right, he saw the Edward, the nakedness of his father.
Yeah.
Saw his nakedness of his father. Now, culturally, customly, we don't find people of our history, of our custom, our nakedness being shown to our children or whatever. You always cover it up. That's our custom. Get what you see, what you get. You see, that's shame, but it's not the point. Adam and Chaywa realized they were naked, and they tried to cover up, right? That's natural, right? God told them, go up to the steps of the altar, make sure your nakedness is not seen. So, okay, fine. There's a verse in scriptures that tells you not to uncover the nakedness of your sister. And what I quote. Edward, your father. It says not. In other words, it's funny not to sleep with your sister, your mother, your brother, your uncle, whatever. From this, people have the those that, well, Ham must have slept with Mama Noah. I'm just telling you how all this started. From a word, Edward means naked. Because in other parts of scripture it says that the nakedness of a woman, thou shalt not uncover a sister and her sister. So from this, they said, oh, Ham must have did something from Mama Noah. Okay? No. Here we go. On God, we thought, no. He was Edward in his forehead, in his tent.
Okay.
And Sam and Ham saw that his father was doing. He was exposed. Okay? Had nothing to do with sleeping with or sexually violating anything of that nature, cohabitating with his mother. Okay? Nothing. In Torah, when something like that takes place, it will let you know. Plainly will let you know. Right? So that's where people get that from that word, nakedness, and they're connected with the verse where it talks about don't come naked with your father, your mother, whatever like that. And that's what it was. Well, he must have done something. No. Remember what I said, when facts are absent, legends are created. I'm here to bring you Torah. Okay? God is a clean God. He's a loving God. He's a clean God. I'm not going to foul my first man or woman, and I'm not going to foul my new generation man and his wife. It's not going to happen. Okay? So those are the minds that you have speaking to from the outside telling you this here. So now, the next half of this says, Yaged Lishne Echai Bakut. He told his two brothers outside. What did he tell them? He gonna tell him? He tell him how I just violated Mama? Come on. That's a man thinking so. Your mind is like that you got to check your mind. You got to see what you have. We're not about the indecency in the show. We're about the cleanliness. Because that's why mind's supposed to go. He told his brothers that Pop is exposed. And some suggest in a way joking and whatever, in a way fun, as some children may do. But what his job should have been was just to what? Clothe his parents. There's a law that says don't shed light on even your eye or further on. In other words, you don't put your family shame, your business shame of your parents out to the public.
Okay.
You don't talk your mother's and father's business that could cause shame in them. You don't do it because that's no chaved, that's no honor. Torah first says to honor your mother and your father, your mother. And that's not honor. They're your parents. I don't care if they're crackheads, drug addicts, whatever they are. They're your parents.
Yes.
Right, Rabbi.
That's your obligation, regardless. He may not have done nothing for you or this or that. He wasn't a father who, he's still your father. And you still are required to honor. Doesn't matter. So be careful how you speak about your parents. Because you may offend God. Because they're the first gods that without them you would not be. You know, they may have never held you in your arm, but did for you. They're still yours. So there's a respect that you still must do. Okay? And you see this man doing something of that nature. He should have protected his father. And covered his honor. Because he in his tent anyway. It was my tent. I'm not out in the open.
Uh-oh.
Right. What you want?
You know, what you want to hear? Oh, this is my room. Okay. That's it. What you want? It's my room. It's my life. All right. It's my little world in here. Okay. So what happened was there's a Shanahan Yelechu, and they two of them
and Shem and Yafet took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders.
See, what they did
and
was
went backward.
Yikak Shem, what Yafet and Simla, they took a garment and Simu, and they laid it upon their Shechem, which means shoulder. Shenehem, both of them took a garment, their garment, put it on their shoulder. It was wide enough to put them both on their shoulders. And they went backwards
and covered the nakedness of their father.
It was a custom not to look on your parents' nakedness, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like looking at the face of God. You can't do that. It's just this rule, this ways of living, where people have customs and traditions and laws and honoring. They went backwards, and they get katsu, and they covered the nakedness of their father. So if you thought like you thought, say, well, others thought they covered the mother, but it said the mother was in a tent. Okay, it didn't say she was naked, but based on what people can extract, that's when you can turn anything into something degrading. They went back and covered their father, who was Elwat, as it says, Elwat of their father. Who nay, their faces are called Rani, turned backwards, and the nakedness of their father, lo Rahu, they saw that. They didn't see. Okay. Respect. Cover your parents' shame. You don't put your parents' business out there. That's all. It's the father and mother you're talking about here. Even your mom will tell you, tell them my business out there. What are you telling my business for? All right, you tell your business. Okay? So your parents, people. One day, you'll be parents. You understand?
Yes.
Okay? If you don't respect your parents on the earth, how can you respect the big parent, the big Abba? You don't see. Okay, it starts at home. You're here home now. The respect the physical ones. That's why there's such great respect that's led to parents in Torah and even outside the Torah. Okay. 24 says what, brother?
And Noach awoke from his
He
wine.
Noach from his wine,
and knew what his younger son had done to him.
So now, people say from that part, they start.
Right.
He disrespected him in a way he should have covered for him.
Dang.
I take it to a different level. I was looking at the Noachv story, and other things like this, where the children ratted out the father. Come on. Are you going to do it to your father. If anything, I gotta say. You who raised you, who you lived an elegant, hard life, but you gonna flip? Wow. Children. Ungrateful.
Oh yeah.
How you go against Abraham? That's deep. It shows you about people, what people can do. That's your parents. You understand what I'm saying? Go get some out people to do that. I don't know anything, that's it. But I'm just saying, in this sense, he was supposed to just come his parents. And because he didn't do that, come his father, should I say. That's what the term as what he done to him. But people will take that as something physical, some type of sexual thing happened. So homosexuality happened with Noah and with Noah and his son, or with Noah and the mother. Because they said that's no, nothing like that. It's really, it's an honor that he didn't do to his father. Okay, that's what it says. That's what it means. Understand is everything you can have. People. Next verse says,
King. And he said, and Noah awoke from his wine and knew that what his younger son had done to him.
Right.
And he said, cursed be Canaan, a slave of slaves shall he be
so
to his brothers.
Aru, cursed be Canaan. Now Canaan is Ham's descendant. But he got the curse. Not Ham in that sense. Business that falls upon the children. 34. All right, so now your children get it. So that's why I say if you're blessed, you want to keep the blessing because then your children be blessed. That's to come. But Noah cursed Ham in the sense of cursing his son. So he said, cursed be Aru Canaan. He shall be Evan, a servant of Abdim, of servants, he gave to his brothers. To his brothers. That means Ham, descendants, posterity will be servants to Japheth and Shem. Look at history. You understand that. What was happening. Okay. 26th verse says,
and he said, blessed be Jehovah Elohim of Shem.
Jehovah Elohim Shem.
And Canaan shall be his slave.
Canaan Eben Lamo. Now this is deep because out of Shem comes us. And we ruled, before we were subjected, we ruled. And they served us. Okay? All that went down. Look what Noachv is saying. Okay? Continue.
Okay. And Elohim shall enlarge Japheth.
Yafat Elohim. Yafat Elohim. All right, Japheth will be enlarged. Go ahead.
He shall live in the tents of Shem.
And
And Canaan shall be his slave.
And Canaan shall be his slave, Japheth's slave. So Japheth's children, so Ham's children are going to serve Shem and Japheth in history. Okay? See, you can open up a lot of things, and I often tell you, you can destroy your posterity based on things you do. You don't want that. You want to cause your children that are not here to live and thrive. You don't want them to be born with issues of the past. So do Torah and get all those things away from them that when they're born, they don't have all sorts of mental illnesses, sickness, illnesses, just messed up in their mind. Sometimes they're physically right, but they're not right mentally. You know, something is off. Or they're sometimes physically not correct based on how things should be. The Most High God is in control of that. But what we could assure is let's do what we have to do to try to prevent anything, whatever's in our power. If it's not in our power, we don't know what's going to happen to our children. Well, let's be on the right road with God so that we want to make more things for us than against us. So, that us not following God, then that opens up something could happen to them. So let's follow the Creator and let's take the things away. Okay, now guess what? I'm doing right, so I pray that my children, my posterity, go right. Because your blessings that you keep, what God do with you, can go all the way down Even wonder why certain people and families do so great. Not so much money, but just because maybe their great-great-great-great-grandfather, mother, tried to please God. You see? This stuff affects us here. As Moshe said, not just you here I deal with, but those who are not here now. This is very deep, people. We're living with things on us from our predecessors.
That's right.
That's why I said you're going to pray of your predecessors. They gone. They made their choice, but you're still praying. And you're still going forward. And you're still setting up your children, believe it or not, based on how you live now, you're setting up your posterity with God. You do right with God and the Creator look out for your generations to come.
That's right.
That's what God did for Abraham. Abraham was long gone. He said, I'm going to keep my promise that I made with him all down the line. That's what that's about. Can you imagine God can covenant with you on your children down the line? You're gone. You sleep, you make the trip, but he can get because you.
That's right.
God, that's what this is about. God said, you in that verse.
28th verse.
28th verse. Talk to me.
And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years. And he died.
9 generations. Then he yamot. Full life. Came through disaster, was I call the first man on the other side. He was an Adam of his time. Because he was Sadiq. He lived 900 years. Came through a trauma. Don't you think he lost family? He lost cousins, uncles, friends, whatever, possibly brothers in that flood. You can't save everyone. But you do right to save the souls you can. Lot tried to even save his, but hey, listen, you can't. So imagine coming through all of that, starting over again, and you understand that's in your head, and now you're 900 some odd years. You've been through a lot.
That's right.
You've seen souls die. And if they were not, on the road or trip, as some say, listen, if you're not good, but you can't get in, you can't open the door. Because God, who closed the door?
Most High.
Closed the door. They let you in. You don't want the Most High God to shut us out, or to keep us and protect us. As he said, come into that ark and be safe. The Most High God keep you. That's what you want. God protect you, can nothing harm you. Continue, my brother.
King, we're in the 10th chapter.
Okay.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and to them were sons born after the flood.
After the flood. So life goes on, people. Continues. Go ahead, brother.
The sons of Japheth,
B'nai Yafet,
Gomer,
Gomer,
Magog,
Megar,
and Medai,
Midai,
and Yovan,
Yavan,
and Tubal,
Tubal,
and Meshech,
Meshach,
and Tiras.
and Tiras. These are the sons of who?
Of Japheth.
From Japheth, the Japhetic ones, comes what we call today the Europeans. Gog and Magog, Russia. Okay? These are the same. You're from in this world today, you're a live one. And these are that is given who their descendants are and where they inhabit. Okay? And when you're dealing with the Yavan, you're dealing with the Greeks, the Ionians, the Medes, who hung out with the Persian. The Persian wasn't from Yavan. They were Shemitic, but they hung out with Japhet. Okay? You're dealing with all these particular same people. Okay? And who they was. Continue, my brother. Let's read some more.
And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz.
Ashkenaz. Who's Ashkenaz?
Yes.
Germany.
That's right.
The Ashkenaz. We said we Ashkenazic or Sephardic. The Ashkenazi Jew, the Sephardic Jew. Ashkenaz is German. They're Europeans. They come from Yavan. Not from Shem. From Yavan. From those sons. And when the Creator gave the sons of man an inheritance, and he talked about Israel, you remember it first. These were the nations. Powerful nations. Hey, the islands. Kittim. and the various places that these things. The people of Asia, Gomer, the Sumerians, Magog, the Scythians, Magog, the Medes, and they are the ones who hung with the Persians. Read about it. But the Medes were not. The Persians were. The Medes were from Yavan, Greek of Yavan. But the Persians were not. But they hung together, just like Moab and Midian hung together. Okay. All right. Then you have Yavan, the Greeks, Ionians. Okay, Ashkenaz of Iraq. Okay, what they termed the Jewish descent, Ashkenaz, Poland, or from Yaffa. Okay, Germanic countries. Okay, Rifat, Togarmah. Okay,
4th verse.
go ahead.
And the sons of Yoan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and
Dodanim. We read the Kittim, inhabiting parts of Cyprus and the Phoenician parts of those areas. Okay, Cyprus of Phoenician extraction. Continue.
And by these were the islands of the nations divided in their lands.
Right.
Everyone after his tongue.
Now, here's the thing about this chapter. We often say you have to put into chronological order because now we're going to go on to the next chapter afterwards, and something's going to be said. So maybe this chapter will come after that chapter. I'll say why. Because here it's going to let all these people that it's talking about was put in these places, and they spoke in their tongues, in their languages, in their territories. But we're going to learn in the next chapter that the whole earth was of one tongue. So how could that be? Well, maybe that chapter should have been, really, someone is just giving you information.
That's right.
Together. Okay. Then after that, the whole earth was one tongue. Then that turned into this. When these people got their particular inheritances and so forth, then they split. But the whole earth at some point, as we're going to read about, was of one language. Whether it's Aramaic or Hebrew, one language. And then now, when God created, started splitting them up, going where they go, they begin to develop their own language. Okay, which we'll read about in a little bit. But continue on. Let's find out who these other people are, brothers.
6th verse.
6th verse.
And the sons of Ham.
Now, here comes Ham. The sons of Ham. We have some information on the sons of Ham. A little bit of information on the sons of Ham. These are great. Each one were great people.
That's right.
Ham is great. Though it's written that cursed be Ham, Ham was still great. Okay, we lived amongst Ham and Japheth. They were all sons of Noah. Now, what happened to, they say, the first Greeks were dark and so forth, and whatever mutant happened afterwards, change happened, came while they were over in Europe. Because the earth, as we know it at this time, is all, we call people of pigmentation, like people. We understand that. But every person around, white, green, blue, green, they come from one of these three sons. All right? And as we read for Japheth let you know where his people were. And that's what we typically call Europe. All right? So that's where they're from. They're not out of Shem. Okay? They're out of Japheth. Okay? Talk to me, brother.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, Egypt.
Okay, so we got Cush. Cush, they call them, the Greeks call them Ethiopia, the one that's burnt faces. Remember in scripture it talks about the river that comes out of the garden, and one goes around Ethiopia. There was no Ethiopia at that time as a people. So let you know that had to be written when there was an Ethiopia or Cush. So out of Cush, the great line of Ham comes Cush, Ethiopia. All right. Who else? Continue.
And Put. And Canaan.
Put, Libya, Canaan, the Canaanites in general, they come out of Ham. Great people. We war with them. We were confederate with them with Abraham. They were warriors, great warriors. They had giants, everything. And one of the greatest of the Ham people, we warred with for years, the Philistines.
That's right.
Mitzrayim, Egypt. They're brothers, all out of Ham, powerful people. in the continent. The Hittites. These are the people who lived in the land before we, as Israel, arrived. They lived there first. They're the ones who the Most High God put out. They will say that, they don't call it, they want to call it Middle East. It's the continent. It's what they term Keeblan on Africa. That's what they were. But they're not going to say that, because if you say that they're African, then the people who took over after them have to be in Africa. But they're not going to call it Africa. But that's what it is. This is the continent we're talking about. Part of the continent here. And this is where we were. They lived there first, and God gave us the land after them. He put them out. They were black like we were black. That's all. But their character and their behavior was different. So the Creator had to remove them, the Hittites and the Canaanites and the Jebusites, were all out of the line of Ham. Very powerful people. And the most great one that got the most is the Egyptians. They're Hamites. But they're intelligent. So don't let me forget that the Hamites were these no, they were intelligent people, warriors.
That's right.
Even God told them there were 7 nations greater and mightier than us. We lived amongst Ham for over 400 years. Come on, people. The so-called Cushite, Ethiopian, Philistines, great people. History. All the region, God people. But their behavior was not what the Creator wanted. Okay? That's why it's in the lineage of who these people are and where they inhabit. They are the descendant, the posterity of Ham. Continue.
And the sons of Cush, Seba,
and
Havilah, and Sapta,
Remember talking about where there's gold in the beginning. Go ahead.
and Rama, and Sabetha. And the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush fathered Nimrod.
Nimrod, the mighty hunter we talk about. The bikini of Shinar and all that stuff that we love, that they were there first. Before we got there, as a people. Remember, we were taken from the midst of another people, a certain people. Okay? But the Shemitic. When Joseph was in Mitzrayim, and he was in charge and second in charge, the Pharaoh, it is said, that ruled over him wasn't the original Hamitic Pharaoh.
That's right.
It was the Shemitic Pharaoh when you do the study. Shem. The original pharaohs are from Ham. But in Joseph's time, apparently it was one who wasn't. So when the new pharaoh came out later on, who from the original Hamitic line, he said, well, these people are so that's going better than my people, doing better than my people, and didn't acknowledge Joseph or his pharaoh, because out of him came those great pharaohs. And the Bedouin or desert pharaohs eventually took over for only a certain period of time. Well, we see that in history. There are people who saying that they're Israel. That's not Israel. So, I mean, we see that it happened. The actual Egyptians who are from Egypt, the so-called Sudanese, the little dark, are actually Egyptians. But nobody's going to tell you that. You think the way Egypt is now, that's the people. No. Everybody's relocated, dislocated, no. But at times, it'll come out. People understanding who people. One thing about scriptures, it's not going to lie. I'll tell you who people are. So that's why with Israel, one of the greatest things about having this information is that we know who people are.
That's right.
We know where they come from.
That's right.
Based on scripture. Oh, you out of this line. Yeah. You out of this line. Yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
Again, in the midst of that eighth. And he was the first on earth to be a mighty one.
A mighty one. Yeah, that's Nimrod. Before God. So the Creator was with him. Go ahead.
And he was a mighty hunter before Jehovah. Therefore it is said, as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Jehovah.
Yeah, brother. 10th verse.
And the beginnings of his kingdom was Babel.
Oh, we read about the kingdom of Babel, right? Here come Babylon, original before the actual Shemitic came in. Babel, one that's Tower of Confusion. All right, go ahead.
and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, the land of Shinar.
In the land of Shinar, we heard about Melchizedek and all. Powerful. Go ahead.
And out of that land went forth
Ashur.
and built Nineveh.
Oh, you ever heard about Nineveh? They know what Nineveh come out of? You gotta understand the history of it. Built Ashur, built Nineveh, original inhabitant Nineveh, Ashur coming out of what? Then God sent Jonah to Nineveh to try to get them on the right road.
That's right.
Come on. The family of the continent, friendly people. They're not gonna tell you. It's right here. Continue, brother.
And the city of Rehoboth and Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah, which is a great city.
A great city. These people were great. You cannot take nothing from them. You can't take it from Ham. You can't take it from Yafet. They're great people. Great. Mitzrayim, we're going to talk about. Go ahead.
And Mitzrayim, Egypt, fathered Ludum, and Anamin,
Right.
and Lahadi, and Naphtuhim,
Right.
and Pathrusim,
Right.
and Kashluhim, from whom the Philistines descend.
You understand? Kaftorim, all the Philistines out of him. He's dealing with people who we encountered, who we fought with, who we lived with. Oh, you see? Go ahead.
And Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite.
These are all people of the continent, brothers and sisters of the continent, but they're from Ham. They're from Shem. Noah had 3 sons. I'm sure they all look alike. That's what happened later on that changed. Papa Noah would have been, hey, what's going on here? But yet, when they lived, you're going to hear that the first Greeks were black, yes. The different ones were actually dark people. You're going around and do the actual research. Book never told you in history class, the book we have. We heard about the different Greeks. That was the book they had out. It showed you all the various so-called first Europeans were dark. What happened later on? What happened? History is deep. From these 3 sons come the whole world here today. Continue, brother.
And the Hivite,
Right.
and the Arkite,
the
the
Sinite,
and the Aradite,
right,
and Zimrite,
right,
and the Hamathite.
All the ites. Go ahead.
Afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
Right.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as you come to Gera, to Gaza, as you come to Sidon, and Gomorrah,
Sodom and Amorah. Go ahead.
and Admah,
and
Zeboim,
you're talking about
and
very
Talasha.
powerful people here. Don't sleep on that. Don't let people tell you no. We fought with a lot of them, but they were great people. A lot of our greatness and our learning came from amongst these people which we are among. You got to give them their props. Go ahead.
These are the sons of Ham.
These are the sons of Ham. So Sodom and Gomorrah, we encounter with them. People continue on.
After their families,
after their
tongues,
after their what tongues?
In their countries,
in their land,
and in their nations.
And there became nations. 21.
To Shem.
Now we come Shem. Here come our line. Okay, go ahead.
Also fathered all the Amorites.
All right. These were the Hebrews. Go ahead.
The brother of Yafet, the elder. To him were the children born.
Right.
And the children of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lod, Aram.
From what? Aramean was my father, Syrian. From Syria, Shem. Go ahead.
And the children of Aram,
right,
Uz,
right,
Pul,
right,
and Gether,
right,
and Mash,
right,
and Arphaxad fathered Shelah. Shelah fathered Eber,
right,
and Eber were born to 2 sons. The name of one was Hele.
Now remember this: 2 sons of Eber, the Hebrew, Ivri. That's how you say Ivri. Children of Hebrew from the other side. Didn't start with Abram. Go back to Eber.
Mm-hmm.
who was now Abraham's foreparents, down the line. But now we got Eber, and now we have, they're born two sons. Name first was Peleg.
Peleg.
And what happened?
For in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Yoktan.
And then we had Yoktan, who they say was the original father of what they may term actually be the actual Arab, the Arabs. Not necessarily out of Abraham, but the original they were father of some of what they may term to be Arab. All right. Now, out of in Peleg days, I want to take those on Peleg. In Peleg days, the days that the earth was divided, at one point the earth was one whole mass. You could go from one point to the other without even dealing with the water. But a change came. The mass of earth, what you want to call it, but in Peleg days, the earth was one. So when you got over to this part, what we call North America or whatever, there were people here. Did they come on a boat? No, they were here because the earth was one whole mass. You could go on, and that's why I said in Peleg days, the earth was divided. So after Peleg, it split. Okay, very deep. I know it's hard to kind of comprehend, but it was all one. Journey of the Songhai people, those books that you read, when other people you got here were here. Natives were here. Even blacks were here. Read it. Why? Because the earth was one mass. You walked from one to another. All right. And then later on, in Peleg days, it's divided. So in his days, at least it was one. And we're going to understand something in our next chapter real quick when we get to that to understand how a lot of things happen. That's why that chapter, some say, should be before this chapter. Okay, continue, brother.
Okay, 26.
26.
And Yoktan fathered Amudad.
And
Shelef. And Hazmeret.
All various nations, Shemitic nations. Even the so-called the Iranians and the Persians and from India, they're Shemitic, like we are. Some of the same clothes that you see them wear when describing Ezekiel, the same these wore. They're out of the Shemitic line. And that's why they don't talk like us or tone like us. So I'm just showing you how you may look at things you don't understand. That's Shemitic. All three of those children, but they went to different parts of the earth and became kingdoms. That's all. But they're known to be Shemitic. Okay? Continue.
And Hazar Mawet.
Right.
And Yerah.
Right.
And Hador. And Uzal. And Diklah. And Obal.
Right.
And Abimaal. And Sheba. And Ophir. And
Ophir, when it's gold, we talked about, and that's back in Bereshit. Go ahead.
And Hawilah.
Avila.
And Yobab.
And Yobab.
All these were the sons of Yoktan.
Very powerful people at that time. Go ahead.
And their dwelling was from Misha as you go to Sephar.
Go ahead.
A mount of the east.
Mount of Kedem. Go ahead.
And these are the sons of Shem.
Right.
After their families. After their tongues. In their land. After their nation. And these are the families.
Families.
Of the sons of Noah.
Of the sons of Noah.
After their generation. In their nation. And by these were the nations divided. In the earth. After the flood.
In the earth after the flood. This is when they were nifredu. They were separated. The nations on the earth after the flood. Those three children became the nations of today. Okay, now we go to the 11th chapter, which I do believe that this should have been the 10th chapter, and what we just read should be 11. Because what it's going to let you know, because it says they're divided into their space, their nation, and their tongues. 11th chapter, brother.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the whole earth was of one language.
Listen to this.
And of one speech.
Shafa Akkad Udarim Akkadim. A whole earth was of one safa, one tongue, one lip, one language. Okay. And the purpose is Akkadim. That word they say the whole earth. But we just read where there were different languages put together. that's why I say you have to sometimes switch chapters, put it back so it can make sense to you. Okay? The whole earth is one tongue and one language. So this would be where we just read would be where the 10th chapter was, and 11, and the 10th would be the 11th. All right? But continue. You got to gather information and put it together. Everything is not in chronological order.
Right.
Okay, continue.
And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east.
Now, Amru, as they journeyed from the east, okay, as they journeyed, when they had migrated, and Assam, continue, they what?
That they found a plain in the land of Shinar.
Remember we just spoke about the land of Shinar? Who was there? Nimrod and the very Adaham. Okay, go ahead. In Shinar, and they what?
And they lived there.
And they Yashbu Sham.
And they said one to another,
now, Amru one to another,
come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
So brick wasn't nothing new. They made brick and mortar back then, and lahim la chomer for mortar, and lime for mortar. Same thing they use today. All right. 4th verse says,
and they said, come, let us build us a city.
Let's need new ear.
And a tower.
And migdal,
whose top may reach to heaven.
A skyscraper. Shaare Shamayim. Go ahead.
And let us make us a name.
Now, I said a new shame. We're going to make us a name.
Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
We don't want to be Nafus. But God said to be scattered. Go. Multiply.
Right.
Replace the earth. You're not to stay in one spot. Man was a what? To move around. He's going to put you various places. But they said, no, we don't want to be Nafus. We don't want to stay in one place. You got to populate. 5th verse says what?
And Jehovah came down to see the city and the tower, which the sons of men built.
He came down to see it. Oh, look at this. They don't want to move. They don't want to populate. Remember, it's just the whole earth was one language, one tongue. We all spoke the same thing. At one point in history, until the nations was divided, like you said, we just read about their families. All right, continue.
And Jehovah said, behold,
hey,
the people are one. And they have all one language.
They have what?
One language.
One language, one thought.
And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have schemed to do.
That they propose to do. What do they propose? They want to build this skyscraper and reach unto heaven. Some other books will say, well, they want to go over to crater, and so forth, go up there. But it says they want to build this, not be dispersed. They don't want to be nothing. Continue, brother. 7th verse says,
come,
Haba.
Let us go down.
Now, here's another term you hear. So let us make man. So a second. Here's the Torah majesty. Haba. Ne da. Nereda. Let us. Not ereda, I'll go down, but let us go down. We will go down. Nereda. We will go down. Who's we? The Torah majesty of the Creator.
That's right.
Elohim, powers, forces. Very deep. No other entity or whatever people want to make it. No, it's a greater, as he spoke in the first part of Bereshit. Nerada, and we will see this. Let us descend and what? And confuse
their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
We're going to go down and change their language, so that they don't understand one another. Because what they want to do is not what God wants to do. So they're not following whatever commandment, which is, no, you're going to disperse her. We don't want to disperse her. So now, that's why I mentioned the reason why it starts out, the whole earth is one language, one tongue. That all these particular people that we spoke about originally spoke one tongue. But then God changed their languages. Okay, but they didn't speak one tongue. And that they were dispersed with their families and their tongues that God changed. They don't. Okay, continue.
8th verse. So Jehovah scattered them abroad.
That's Jehovah because they didn't want to be your fault. They didn't want to go abroad. I want to stay right here and I'm not moving. That's not what God has. He made a whole earth out there. So now, from there
upon the face of all the earth, and they left off the building of the city.
Not Sikru, but Chadar. Stop. They left off. They stopped. Leave no Hakir. They stopped building that city, which was against God, because it wasn't for procreation. It wasn't about expanding. It was that we're going to stay here. No. Why? Communication. Because when you cannot understand, and this is what we got to understand what happened with us. This is part of our diaspora. Not only we scattered to different parts of the world, and we were on the different parts of those worlds where they gathered us from, bring us to other parts, understand the language. The language barrier. Because what does the saint say? What does the saint say? All I need from you is communication. Understanding is what I need. Right? All I need from you is understanding. To communicate. You can't communicate. Because your language is bad. To stop building, show you how much language is important. They could not understand one another no longer. That's communication. What do women always say to men? Communication, baby. Communication. We're not communicating because communication is the key, even for families, for building tribes. And they could no longer build together. You can't work together. We can't communicate. We can't understand. So that's why it's written in Torah, in scriptures later on, I will return to you a pure tongue, that you can all call on me with one consent. The consent is the very most important part. The same avenue, the same aim, the same objective. Not to debate, not to fight, but to be together, united in one consent to call on God. You see, their actions was not for God. It was contrary. So the Creator confounded their language. That's why it's called Babel, which means to confound. In other languages, it means a gate to heaven, but it means for us Babel, confusion. Because now they can no longer build it. So if we're, and as a people, we're more confused. Because we can't, because we come from different parts of the world, we're scattered, and we have different customs when we come, we meet up, and we develop those customs, and now it's hard for us. Some was born in the Caribbean, some was born over here, and it's different cultures, and so therefore it's difficult. So all that has to be mended. And the system knows, was the system said, okay, we want to do that to what? To control factor. That's right. Because a house divided can't what? Stand. Israel, you're a house of Israel. So you have to be divided. Your language has to be divided. Your sciences have to be divided. So you come with this idea, that idea, and all that. Now it's confusion. So we leave off building just as they did. So that's why a lot of times we can't accomplish them, because it's not on one. Different language, different thought, different objective, everything. And look what happened. They stopped building the city. I say, hand me a brick. Now I say, what? What is that? What are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying, man. Language has changed because there's no communication.
Okay.
And when there's no communication, you can't build. You can't build with each other. Division, a house divided. You can't stand. Well, how can two walk together? It says, unless they agree. Can you see what happened to us? From the Creator and from the people. So they're going to bring others in front of you with all sorts of stuff that's different. Because it's a clash. And then, so you can't. But if now you start merging and getting along with that, they weren't supposed to do that. We brought them there to divide. Or you think you're better than me, this, that, or that's what they want. Because then the system goes profits. But now when you work together and you get together, you get to know your brother and your sister, and you understand your custom. Now that's when the system says, oh man, what are we going to do now? You see, this is all part of it. But they left off building because they couldn't communicate with each other.
That's right.
They couldn't speak the language. Well, prior to that, we read this, but that should have came after this. So that chapter belongs after this. You can understand why. But at one point, the whole earth was one tongue. At one point, the whole earth was was one batch. You could walk from one, but in Peleg days, God separated, changed it. But now you need to get a boat, you need to get a ship, whatever to get over there. But now those who on the other side, when it happened, they just over here. It's like a split. Earthquake happened, you split. You on this side, on this side. That's what happens. So when every people came over here, there were people here before the Europeans came here. There were natives here. Even blacks were here.
That's right.
They traded. Always around the world. Okay? That's what this is here for, to let you know who are these people, where they came from. So if you exist today, then you come from here. Okay? And the temporary names you have, African, Black American, this, that, and all the other temporary stuff that they gave us. I said, hey, that's temporary. Hispanic, this, that. Listen, they created that.
Uh-huh.
If you're Puerto Rico, then you got to understand your Taína.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know about your Taína people.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Aztec Mexican, you got to know about your Aztec people. They have a history. And the only thing they have in common is the colonizers who colonized them, which was Spain. But if you live into the system to try to make, no, you were different people, you had your own custom, and you had your own languages. You're either Taína, you're either Maya, or you're Inca. Know who the people were there before Spain took over, and you will understand who you are.
Dang.
That's history, and that's what this book lets you know. Who you are and where you come from. And we all had colonizers. The only difference is we lost our identity on who we were. You knew who you were, but you lost your language. Their language is spoken in those places that I just told you about before Spanish even came in there. And their cultures that are still living, they're almost wiped out, but they're people, strong people. But if you let the system today have it, you'll wipe out all of that.
Yeah.
Like that don't exist, that you wasn't Inca or Maya or Aztec or Taína. Who were you before Spain got there, before your Plymouth Rock landed on you and was scattered? Before they took the slaves and put them over here, and they took one side and put one side on slaves in the Dominican Republic and the other side in Haiti, but yet they came from the same place, from the continent. But Spain controlled one side and France controlled the other. Let's look at history, people. So they'll create all kind of names today. So you're black. Black is an adjective. Black of what?
That's right.
Of what? There are more blacks in the world. Black what? See, they don't take other people. Whatever you are from what's in here.
That's right.
In Israel, you come out of Shem, you come out of all that. If you're European, you're coming out of Yafet. Simple as that. Okay? There's blacks in Ham, there's blacks, Yafet, there's blacks, there's in all three. Okay? You gotta know history from where. How do you identify? You take the water in the sea and put it in America, it's a water in the sea. You put it in Africa, it's still a water in the sea. So what are you, whatever your fathers were? That don't change where you were born.
That's right.
Systemic is here. History. Let's understand it and know of it. Go to it. Because the systems will make you think of this, of that. They do all kind of stuff. Latino. No, you are what you were with prior. Understand, go back, understand who you were. How great, powerful you were. They'll put that modern terminology on you. This and that. Where they come with that? Democratic Republican. I'm conservative. I'm orthodox. These are just titles. What are you righteous?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
This book opens up all those things. That's why everything in this earth had to come from these three sons. That's what lets you know here. The generations of the earth. You exist out there, you're somewhere in here. Now see?
Hey, 10th verse. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old. And father Araphat.
Okay.
2 years after the flood.
Right now, this is our lineage was coming down. Go ahead.
And Shem lived after he fathered Araphat 500 years. And fathered sons and daughters. And Araphat lived 35 years and fathered Shelah. And Araphat lived after he fathered Shelah 430 403 years.
403
And
years.
fathered sons and daughters.
And father, now he got sons and banim. Banim and bano. Go ahead.
And shall I live 30 years.
Shalashim
And
Shana.
fathered Eber.
You'll let Eber. Here we go with Eber, the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And shall I live after he
Shalak
fathered
Holy
Eber 403 years. And fathered sons and daughters.
Banim bano. Go ahead.
And Eber lived 34 years. And fathered Peleg. And Eber lived after he fathered Peleg 430 years.
When the earth was divided,
And fathered sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and fathered Ruah. And Peleg lived after he fathered Reuel 209 years. And fathered sons and daughters.
Still having children. Go ahead, 20.
And Reuel lived 32 years. And fathered Serug.
This is your history. This is your genealogy. Go ahead, 21.
And Reuel lived after he fathered Serug 207 years. And fathered sons and daughters.
22nd.
And Serug lived 30 years. And fathered Nahor.
Go ahead, brother. 23.
And Serug lived after he fathered Nahor 200 years. And fathered sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years. And fathered Terah. And Nahor lived after he fathered Terah 119 years. And fathered sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years. And fathered Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
This is your history. Understanding where it comes from, how it develops. 27.
Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah fathered Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
Three
And
sons.
Haran fathered Lot.
Haran was the father of Lot. Okay, continue.
And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldees.
Where Ur of Hasidim. That's where they live. Ur of Hasidim. Under the reign of what? Babel. Ur of Hasidim. All right. 29 says.
And Abram
Yitzchak Avram.
and Noah took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai.
Sarai.
And the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran.
But Haran, his brother,
the father of Milcah,
he was
and the father of Ishkar.
Ishkar is saying that later on because when we get down the line later on, this is going to come out. So you need to know exactly who they are. This is a family power. Okay. 30th verse says,
But Sarai was barren.
she had
had no child.
Later on, we learned that Abraham and Sarah were sisters and brothers based on his father's child, but not his mother's child. Okay? And we learned that later on. It doesn't say that because history doesn't record everything when it came to women. Exactly. Only in certain instances within scriptures. Okay, 30, and it says Yitzchak was Sarah. Well, Yitzchak Tahi Sarai Akara in La La. 31 says.
And Terah took Abram his son,
Tarak et Avram
and
Beno,
Lot, the son of Haran,
and Haran,
his grandson, and Sarai his daughter-in-law.
Sarai Kalato doesn't say his daughter, but it's actually his daughter. But now she's married to his son Kalato. She's the daughter-in-law.
His son Abram's wife,
and said Avram,
and they went forth with them from Ur of Chaldees.
They left Meor Kasidim. They left Ur. So as a family, Terah, the one who we found out later on was a what? An idol work maker. Mm-hmm. But he took his family. These were older men now. Because Abraham was 75. There wasn't no children, but we moved as families. See, our custom, even way back then, before we became Israel, was you moved as a family. That's why Yaakov and his sons lived in that together. And yet they had their own families. We need to eat. Y'all go down and get us food. It wasn't like you over here. They are family. So when Terah left, he took Abram. Okay? He took Nahor. We're moving as a unit, as a family. When you someplace and you there and something happened to your child, you want to call up and say, sister, go get my son, go get my nephew, go get my granddaughter, my grandson, uncle, cousin, brother. You operate as mishpachah. Mishpachah, that's what it's always been. Continue, finish this out, brother.
Rain, to go to the land of Canaan.
Now they left Kasedim to go to where?
To the land of Canaan.
So when they went to the land of Canaan, Abraham was already there. They're already in the land of Canaan when the creator came in to tell them to leave your father's house where you're at in the land of in Canaan. They left Earth. They migrated from Kasedim to the land. Tarak went there with them. They all made a family move to there. But from there, in Canaan, Abraham left to continue the creator's movement. So Abraham bano yata'u atim me'ur Kasedim la'leket arzak Canaan. Yaba'u ad Karan. And they arrived at Karan, where they said Busha, and they lived in Haran, in Canaan. Okay? They left Kasedim, and they went there to live. They're already in Canaan. Continue.
And the days of Terah were 205 years. And Terah died in Haran.
He died in Haran, which means he died in Canaan. Okay? And next week, we'll start our second portion, which will start with Abraham being in Canaan, leaving his father's area, his father's household. And because he leave his father, see, when they say leave your father, doesn't mean you're in his house. You're on his domain. You can live in that house or whatever, but you're still under your father's control. Wherever your mother's, your mother still controls, your father still controls it, though you're in your house. It's the region you got to leave from under that the influence under. So when out of his father's house, out of his own kindred, he had to leave from one part of Canaan to go to where God sent him in Canaan. But they left Kasedim. So from everything we read from then to now lead us up to this point. Now we know all the different nations, not all, but where they are, who they were, where they come from. Because this Torah is not only a Torah book, it's a history book.
That's right.
It tells us also things.
That's right.
If you're white, you're black, idea where you come from here. We say, you have me looking over here in Genesis and see where you at. No, every nation should know where the extent. Okay. Scriptures is deep, so I guess it's another book. Wherever you come from, you got to come from. Shemitic, or your Hamitic. Where you come from and who you know. And that other stuff that we create down the line, where we ever call ourselves, that's what man did. What do we call them? But this is where you come from and know it. This is history. And it's for all people, all colors to understand and know this.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
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 Shabbat shalom.
Kumu. The prayer for the ending of the Torah session. Baruch Adonai Melech haolam asher naten lanu Torah emet vechaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Yehovah noten haTorah. Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Yehovah, our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and the light of eternity. He implanted within us. Blessed are you, Yehovah, giver of the Torah. Amen. And for the Torah, hallelujah.
We take a vote.
We pay homage
Elohei Abraham.
to the God of Abraham,
Elohei Yishkal.
the God of Yitzchak,
Elohei Yaakov.
the God of Yaakov.
Shaare Shamayim Knesset. Want to give out his Torah leadership. Prince Keskiahu ben Yehuda. Nasi Mikael ben Zebulon Gray.
Hallelujah.
Our rabbinate Princess Rita. And Mispaka Online. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Baraku et Yom Baruch Yehovah Amrak Le'ovaed. Baruch Atah Yehovah Eloheinu Malek Haolam Asher Bacha B'Nvidim Tovim V'Ratzah V'Devraim Ana Emarim Ve'emet. Baruch Atah Yehovah Haboker V'Torah U'Moshe Avdo U'Israel Amor U'Ve'Av Ha'emet V'Zadik. Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Yehovah Eloheinu, King of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that was uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Yahweh, who chooses the Torah, and Moshe his servant, and Israel his people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Amen.
Amen. Shall we please be seated?
Our Torah portion today is in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, from verse 1 to 17, and then Isaiah 55, 1 to 5. Beginning with Isaiah chapter 54, verse 1. Sing, O barren, you who did not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, you who did not labor with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, says Yahweh. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of your habitations. Spare not, lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. For you shall break forth on the right hand and on the left, and your seed shall possess nations, and make desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be confounded, for you shall not be put to shame, for you shall forget the shame of your youth, and shall not remember the reproach of your widowhood any more. For your Maker is your husband, Jehovah of hosts is his name, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. He is called the power of the earth. For Jehovah has called you as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, but a wife of you. Can she be rejected? Says Jehovah. For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great mercy will I gather you. In overflowing wrath I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on you, says Jehovah your Redeemer. For this is like the waters of Noachv to me, for just as I have sworn that the waters of Noachv should no more go over the earth, so I have sworn that I would not be angry with you, nor rebuke you. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you, nor shall the covenant of my peace be removed, says Jehovah, who has mercy on you. O you afflicted, tossed with tempests, and not confronted, behold, I will lay your stones with fair colors, and lay your foundations with sapphires. And I will make your windows of rubies, and your gates of beryl, and all your borders of precious stones. And all your children shall be taught of Jehovah, and great shall be the peace of your children. In righteousness shall you be established, and you shall be far from oppression, and you shall not fear, and from terror, and it shall not come near you. Behold, they may gather together, but not by me. Whoever shall gather together against you shall fall for your sake. Behold, I have created the metal worker who blows upon the coals in the fire, and produces an instrument for his work. And I have created the destroyer to destruct. Wow. No weapon that is made against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Jehovah, and the reward of their righteousness appointed by me, says Jehovah. Isaiah chapter 55. Ho, everyone who thirsts, come to the water for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfied not. Listen diligently